Welcome, Graphics Fairy family. I'm Ingrid Carlsen, and today I want to share this project that is very dear and near to my heart that I have made, and it is a cross between a junk journal and a nature sketch journal. So starting off with the front cover, and I was very highly inspired by the Forget Me Not collection on the Graphics Fairy Premium site. I drew out and watercolored this little songbird, and then the closure is going to be this seam binding that I hand dyed. And on one side, it's got beads, and then it also has this little whimsical metal owl that's so cute, and I thought it went so well with the album. So this is actually not a journal, but instead a collection of journals. And on the inside, each of these journals has little mini journals inside. And so you can take them out and you can use them in a lot of different ways. I wanted to piggyback on the beautiful colors found in the Forget Me Not kit of the blues and creams, and I wanted to invite the outdoors in with this journal, and I wanted to use a lot of different fabrics and different textures like rhinestones and metals and different fabrics and stitching that kind of all emulated things that you would find outside, starting with this little cluster here that makes it look like this little birdie is sitting on a nest. Isn't it adorable? These flowers here are from the Katharina Klein Birds collection, which is so beautiful, and I've included some more right here that are sitting in their own little nest. I was highly inspired by Jack Ravi, who made a chocolate journal and said that it smelled like cocoa butter, and so I wanted something similar. And so when I coffee dyed, I actually coffee dyed with a coffee that was creme brulee flavored, and so when you walk in my room, all you smell is caramel, which is kind of dangerous because it makes me want caramel all day. I just stitched a bunch of different types of laces and trims on the edges of these. The middle is a pocket. And there's a lot of different types of papers, including this rice paper and some dictionary pages. And here you can see it says Blackbird. And this little booklet is actually a TN, or traveler's notebook style. And so it's got these little eyelets with an elastic binding. And so what that means is you can actually take all of these pages out and work on them, and you can also add to it, which I especially am loving right now. On the back here, I just have this paper clip with some fabric and then some coffee dyed rice paper with a little sketch of a bird. And I love all of the yummy coffee dyed texture that we got there in those hymnal pages. I also added, there's a pocket in the back of the book, and I added some watercolor, a bird and a feather. And then here's another little mini book, and it's got this altered paper clip. The edge is a fabric, and it just has some cute little tiny pieces of papers. And you can take this out and throw it in your purse or in your bag or whatever, and you can fill it with inspirations from the outside. I also added these little bead details. So there's one here in the back and then the one in the front. And I don't know if I've seen these before on someone else or what gave me the idea to do those, but I love them and they're so cute. I wanted to ask you what inspires you. Is there something that when you research, you watch movies, listen to podcasts, watch a YouTube channel, that it just inspires you to go create. For me, it's nature. And those that know me in real life know that I'm actually not really a nature person. I'm kind of scared of bugs and flying things and such. And so I don't have New Year's resolutions, but I do have intentions. And this year, one of my intentions was to be out in nature more. Here I collaged some pages from the Forget-Me-Not collection and made it into a tag. I layered it on some different laces and then added some slow stitching. And then as you can see, I kept all the edges really raw and natural. Here, the next page is, and the whole book is made out of this really thick book board. The next page has a pocket, and it's probably one of my favorite spreads in the whole book. Starting with this dried flower that my niece made for me years ago, and I've been holding on to it. I also have one of these little faux wax seals that I just recently made on my channel, and then some more slow stitching with some papers and different fabric. And then I think my favorite piece is the front, and I love how it's like the birds and then the blue from the sky and then this little slide, and you can kind of see it there. It's like a basin or a lake, and I think it's just wonderful. You know, every time that I step foot outside, I'm surrounded with a plethora of textures and colors and smells that never fail to amaze me. And that's what inspired me to create this nature-inspired journal. It's a space where I could capture the essence of nature and some of its beauty. This right here is a little pocket. It is some vintage tickets as well as some of these words. The Graphics Fairy has these printables in the Forget-Me-Not collection, and they are either in English or in French, and of course I had to put them in French. Here on this page, you're going to see there's a lot of laces and some vintage trim. Also, more of that dark blue binding, as well as a metal number. And then this cluster right here with this floral. It's just so pretty and precious. Here is another cluster with a watercolor bird that looks like it's sitting in its nest. And while you're looking at this, I just wanted to read you a quote from Albert Einstein. He says, "Look deep into nature, and then you'll understand everything better." And I think that, you know, our creator is an artist that drew out every single thing that you see outside. But when you delve deeper, you notice the little tiny details of how everything works together perfectly. And I think that that's what Einstein was referring to. Here I also added another little quote, and it says, "Let your dreams take flight." And then I collaged these pages and added some paint. Here is another one of the little books, and it is being held on with this little clip. And some of you saw me make this over on Instagram, and I did some slow stitching, which I love. Which reminds me of another thing, is that nature reminds us to slow down and to be grateful for the world around us. It's a source of wonder and inspiration to all of us. So it doesn't matter where we live in the world or what our economic standings are. Nature is all around, and it is free for all of us to bask and to just enjoy. And all we need to do is take time to appreciate it. This has some painted papers that I made marks on, as well as some old book pages and old school books. And this one is also bound using some fabric. and a touch of pink to add a little bit of warmth. Here I have another little tab here that holds another tiny journal. And then this little tag in the front, which also has another faux wax seal. The last page in the journal is again a watercolor bird, and I think this is a little robin. He's so sweet. And here is more different fabrics, some beads, a little tiny bell. And he's on a cluster and it says, I love you. And then the back of the journal is just a vintage recipe page that I had, and I left it all grungied and rolled so that it just emulates the outdoors, and how although things are not perfect and trees aren't perfect and grass isn't perfect, it looks perfect in our eyes. In Greek, you say elpida. It's a word for hope. And so today I say that elpida, this video, inspires you to start your own journey of documenting your experiences with nature. I hope that you take the time to make your own nature journal and that you find as much joy and inspiration as I have in making this one. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.